I have with a lot of people is that I can't do it because of X. I can't compete and build my business. I can't have 3 children and move to Portugal and compete. And
once you're starting to actually do those boring DMs and opening up conversations, that's where it is all about. Without a conversation, there's no lead, there's no call, there's no cash to be made.
a lot of people literally don't have the balls to be like, I'm going to fucking do this and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, whereas most people just don't back themselves. So like,
Because cooking for me is just a mindless thing to do. I'm going to make pasta, boom, 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 boom. At the same time, I'm either listening to a training that I need to follow or a call that I was not being present with live. For example, the calls that we have weekly.
Today we're in for a treat. So if you're an online trainer looking to scale your business, today we've got a superstar from the Netherlands. Rico went from doing 5 to 6K a month to 20K a month in a very short period of time. Also recently won a bodybuilding show, also a busy father, also moving to Portugal. So today is going to be an exciting conversation. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Charlie.
First thing I want to ask you is in terms of a big thing I'd say that you do, and that's something I feel I do, is you break limiting beliefs. Because the big thing for me, well, I'm going to set the story for this. Went onto Facebook the other day and I was like, how the fuck is Rico's eating? I read the captions, like Rico's there like with a tomahawk steak like this. And if anyone knows me, I love a tomahawk steak. And he's got another show coming up and he's fitting his macros whilst eating tomahawk steak whilst traveling around Dubai. So like you break a lot of limiting beliefs. And I think one of the reasons I think you're very good at doing that is you have the skill a lot of people miss, which is the ability to think critically for yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, the breaking the limiting beliefs stuff is one of the reasons that I'm sitting here today. You know, the same goes with making the social media posts, the reels. People can't believe it. That I'm like almost hitting peak week, 2 weeks out from the show, and eating that crazy tomahawk of 1.4 kgs. And they're like, what the hell? How are you doing that, right? And that creates traction, interest, and a lot of conversations. And I think for every single thing, pretty much in life, whether you want to level up in your business, your whatever it is, there's always that first time you are like, what the fuck, if I knew this, why have I spent so many years thinking that it was different? And it's with all things. It's also the reason why I have gone from that point what you said, 5K a month, to now 20 euros, by the way. So, you know, there's a whole limiting belief stuff. And also with having 3 kids, you know, and I hear people all the time saying, oh, I don't have the time, and I don't have this, and people need to stop thinking about what can be done, but what you can do in terms of your time. People never sit down and literally think for 5 simple minutes, how am I going to solve this problem? That's it. That's the same with food and nutrition. If you literally read just for 5 minutes an article about what calories are, all those people are saying, calories are bullshit. Really? Calories are no bullshit. It's on every single nutrition label and product you buy in the shop. There's a reason for that. Just trying to understand. Just taking just that 5 minutes to read through that. And your life can change.
And I think what you hit the nail on the head there is that most people don't even open their eyes to what's in front of them. Like calories are on everything, right? If we're looking at the nuance of that. And it's the same thing, I think, in terms of people's business. I think the biggest problem I have with a lot of people is that I can't do it because of X. I can't compete and build my business. I can't have 3 children and move to Portugal and compete and 4X my business, like, which is what you've literally done.
Yeah.
And eat tomahawk steaks and travel around Dubai.
Absolutely,
and do whatever.
yes.
And the thing I always think when I'm struggling with something would be like, has anyone else ever done this before? The reality is yes, and that means I can fucking do it.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the big things that we do in terms of the group of people we have in our mastermind is that you see other people like yourself who are crushing it, and you're like, well, like inherently as men in particular, like if that fucker can do it, it's like I can do it, right? And that's the big thing, because if you can see someone's done it, then like it can be done.
Literally, this one thing that you're saying now has put me through a process of going from where I was and where I'm now. And to be honest, Charlie, was that the task that I had been given.
You haven't done it yet.
I haven't done it yet.
I was going to say this.
The
Which is frightening.
Which is frightening, because I know when I do and execute, my business is going to explode, and I'm not ready for that in my mind. So there's the next limiting belief for me. The only difference was I saw Asri, the kid of 24, because I was entering the group, and I was like, this kid is doing this amount? What in the hell? So I broke my own limiting belief, and just seeing that, and just hearing him talk on the calls that we have together every single week, I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. And it only takes that simple step to go from where I was 5 to now 20. And I didn't even fully execute on all the things that I want to do, because I know for sure that I can hit next year 100K a year, or per month, sorry, not a year, come on.
Think big.
Per month,
yeah.
Easily, you know. It's yes, it's all the things together. I'm moving out to Portugal, I'm immigrating, want to have, for my kids to have a good life, and all these things together, and competing and making a documentary and all these things. Sure, life is hectic, but if you just keep focusing on the things you need to do and keep breaking those limiting beliefs, which is just this. And like I said, for every single thing in your life, there's always a holy shit moment. If I knew this before, then why have I wasted so much time? I wasted 8 years. Since 2014, I was an online coach. I was charging 80 euros per month. And I had good clients because my documentary in 2015 went viral. I'm Natural Bodybuilder. And we are now making the second one. But however, back then, I didn't have a system. It was a side job, and it was paying me because I still was a student. And then I had the shiny object syndrome, cryptocurrency, starting a luxury brand in Portugal, doing it from A to Z like Emporio Armani would do, designing on the table and all that stuff. And it took one limiting belief and actually taking the risk of investing in myself. And it started with Frank, good friend, big Frank.
We spoke about before.
Yeah. And I actually couldn't pay that because I had a kid that I needed to feed. We had a house. I had to drive a BMW that I actually couldn't afford, but I still was driving it. And then I took the leap. And that was the first breakthrough and the best decision that I made. From that point on, I learned for myself, hey, if you are investing in yourself and just taking action, taking the risks actually, yes, sure, it's frightening. But in 1 month, with being with Frank, it changed my life. Frank eventually stopped. And I was like, oh yeah, Charlie is a good friend of him. Oh, he has his business coaching right there. And I was like, I want to focus internationally. And eventually I pulled the trigger. But that instant moment was so easy for me to make because I knew already before how it changed my life just by investing in myself, taking the leap, taking the risk. And look where I am now.
And I think that's what I say to people, something, and it's the same for fitness clients, right? It's like the fucking hardest part is joining someone and asking or starting with someone because you shit your pants. And like, I've been there, right? I've spent like 50 grand on mastermind stuff in one go, and I'm like, fuck me, like this is a lot of money. And I'm like, but once you've done it once and you get the feedback loop and you know it, like you're like, it's almost like how much money can I spend on this with the right person, and it's no brainer.
It's a no brainer.
And that for me has been like the greatest gift coaching has ever given me. Is like first time like getting in really good shape. I was like, if I just do what the person tells me, I get jacked in really good shape. I was like, and then all I have to do is do it and don't think about it. It's like, cool. And then I did the same thing with business. So just like worked out what the problem was, found the person to solve it, paid them, solved the problem, learnt the skill, then go to the next problem. And that's how you move ahead really, really quickly. And I think you being from the Netherlands, me being from the UK, Europeans compared to maybe Americans have a very negative mindset in terms of investing in themselves.
Oh, yes.
One of the reasons why I left Europe, because you're a sum of who you're around and what you see. And that's the other thing I like about you, Rico, is in terms of you're from the Netherlands, although soon moving to sunnier climates, but you break that belief. And also a lot of people in the Netherlands think that you can't be successful in terms of online coaching because the Netherlands is a very small country, and Frank has most of the clients there. What would be your advice to anyone there who maybe has that limiting belief that I'm from a small country in Scandinavia or somewhere like that, or Netherlands or another small European country, that, there's not enough people here?
First and foremost, I have always thought the world as being one place. When I was a university student, I was studying small business retail management, and there was one particular class that I remember. It was about the international business side of things, and they were talking about culture. And then they were asking me, Rico, what kind of culture do you belong to? I said, man, I don't belong to a culture. I am a human being on this planet. Because someone, sometime, put borders and said, this is the UK, this is the Netherlands, but to me, we are all the same. To me, we are brothers, we are from the same thing, right? I think if the world started to think like this, there would be a lot more peace, first and foremost. For someone who is in a small country, you have to see the world as the pond, right? But you need to bring or have a good story to tell, and that can be your personal story that motivates people, because otherwise you're not going to stand out. The reason why people are following me, first and foremost, because I'm a big believer of natural bodybuilding. I believe in doing it on a healthy way, and I eat tomahawk steaks 2 weeks out from the show, 1.4 kilograms on the Instagram stories. I am completely crushing beliefs. So I think if you have a good story, first and foremost, it doesn't matter if you're from a small country. If you have a good story to tell that people can resonate with, your own story, for example, then they're more likely to have a relationship with you. That's one thing that I have created along the years with my YouTube channel. People really think that they know me. They know my life. Because the way I'm on my YouTube videos is exactly the way how I'm in real life. I'm not different. Be yourself at all times. That is very important. And of course, what I usually see with friends and fitness coaches as well that are trying to blow up the business, the one thing that you just said, I learned so much from doing shows, fitness, the journey, getting shredded, because you know what it takes to get the discipline and to get it done. But whenever it comes to their business, they're not putting in the same work. And they're telling their clients every single day, man, you need to be following your diet, your macros, and fill out the data and do the check-ins. But when it comes to their own business, they absolutely do nothing. So they're not living what they're actually preaching. I think it all starts with that. But trying to find someone that's gonna help you and actually pull that trigger, man, it's like you're in a spaceship, right? You're buying so much time back instead of trying to find out how to do it by your own. Start to figure things out.
Well, you're not guessing, and I think that's what the biggest. I speak to so many trainers, and like that their strategy is hope. Oh, I'm going to try and post more and hope I get more leads. Hope isn't a strategy. Like you can like pray that you get more business, right? It's like that's not really an effective routine. And I think the one thing that you really hit the nail on the head there, which I love, and this is why I love fitness and I love business so much, is that, and actually fitness is easier because you have complete control in terms of like getting in shape. Like you control what you eat, you control your training, you control how much steps you do, like you control how much you sleep, like you have control of that, right? Yeah. Business stuff like COVID happens and other shit happens, that's sometimes out of your control. But in my opinion, the best gift that fitness ever gave me was being really fucking disciplined and being really organized and just being able to grind and like quite sadistically enjoying that. And you know what I mean? Like particularly when you're competing, like when you feel really shit, I'd be like, oh,
you have to show up.
But then when I feel really shit, I'm like, part of me's excited because I'm like, tomorrow I'm gonna look fucking epic. Like, because you do, when you feel look really shit, the next day you look awesome, right? And it's the same thing with business. When you apply that mindset of like, you just turn up every fucking day, you do your best, you do what you need to get done, like whether you feel like it or not. And people say to me like, oh, what's the secret? I was like, well, I posted like 7,000 times on Instagram. I've done thousands of videos on YouTube and I still only got 30,000 subscribers. So like, I actually am really shit at YouTube and I suck, but like, I still turn up and do the thing, right? Not saying that people should do that necessarily, but people give up way too early and they don't actually go like all in enough with the right direction. And actually when I correct myself a bit then, it was the biggest mistake a lot of people make is they go all in, they quit their job and I'm going to become an online coach. But then what are you going to do now? Like you don't know what you're doing, right? So like what I did is I paid someone to teach me whilst I had a full-time career, was earning good money. I was making double my salary from my online coaching before I left and I'd already had all the skills. Yep. So like use your job to fund someone teaching you to then get to the next level.
Exactly. The thing is that just doing one thing good and consistent, I think consistency, we all hear that every single day.
It's not sexy, right?
The problem is that people don't really understand consistency. And once you see the results coming from consistency, you understand the word. I had the same happen with mindset. I was reading books about mindset and I was like, yeah, right. On this point, now I understand what they meant with mindset. But you just first have to see it and experience it. It's the same like people saying, when I'm going to have kids, I'm going to do that and that and that and that. You don't even know how it is to have kids, right? You just first have to experience it. And then you can talk. And for fitness coaches as well, you know, it probably takes just one thing that you do consistently over time. Funny example, this was, by the way, my biggest problem. That's why I was coaching since 2014, and my business was absolutely nowhere. Yeah, I had some clients. But it was the point I took the step with Frank. And Frank said, Rico, you're just going to do this, this, and this. That's it. And I was like, what? But I was making all kinds of sales pages and email auto-response. No. Cut the crap, just this. And boom, I took the first leap. The same is now with you on a higher level. Rico just focused on this and this and this. Now I haven't executed on all those things because I'm worried that I'm going to break the business. But it's just focusing on that one step. Funny example. When I'm watching my kids on a Friday, because my wife is working, she loves her job. She doesn't have to work, but she loves it. That's fine. When I'm watching the kids on Friday, I'm with them, and they are just, moving around, playing with the toys and stuff. They don't need my attention all the time. This is where a lot of people make the mistake that, oh yeah, I'm going to have kids, and use the excuse, I don't have the time. They don't want to be around me the whole freaking time. Yes, their father's around them, but they find their own way. They find their toys, they break something or whatever. During that time, on Friday, I'm sitting on my phone doing my DMs because finally I have the time to do DMs. Usually on those Fridays, I book the most calls. Me being here in Dubai without my kids and my wife because they're now at home, I book the most calls. Every single time, I spend time on myself, be with my phone, doing the DMs, the basic things, folks,
that no one wants to do.
That no one wants to do. And believe it or not, believe me, during a contest preparation, doing your trainings, I don't always like it. I just go and just show up. That's it. The same goes with the DMs. But it creates a lot of traction. And that's one of the laws that I found is if you're doing nothing, that's also a result because nothing will happen. Your life will deteriorate. It's either going up or it's either going down. But if you just took the action to send out a DM to someone who liked your post, say, hey, how are you doing? Man, that's life-changing. And it's so simple. It's so simple.
And this is what frustrates me so much. People don't understand this, and even I have to hammer on at some people in the mastermind sometimes, like, we're not booking enough calls. How many messages are you sending? Like 50 a day, and you've got a VA. I was like, dude, like I send 20 a day myself, and I'm busy as fuck, and I don't need to, and I just do it when I go for a walk around the marina after doing cardio, and I do that. Like, do you think you should probably do some? Like,
yeah.
And the reality is, like, the more you understand, and I got this from was when I was an estate agent back in the day. I like really quickly worked out, similar to like how selling fitness programs works, right? It's like we book calls, we then close calls, we make money. With houses, it's like we book viewings, we then sell houses. So it's like, cool. So if I just call as many leads as possible or take all the inbound leads as soon as they come through, as soon as the phone rings, I book all the viewings, I make all the sales. So it's like, I do those two things, I win everything. I'll just do that then. And for anyone who listens to this who I used to work with, I also cheated the system because what I used to do is I used to go into the office before anyone else, swipe all the leads from the computer, and then like take all the good ones. And then I became the manager after 2 years doing that strategy. So sometimes you've got to be creative and work around the system. But as soon as you understand like the inputs drive the outputs, is like you just need to do that. And the big thing that like you said that clicks in your head is feedback loop. I do that, they book a call, they pay me, so I'm just going to do more of this. Absolutely. But most people, for some reason, the biggest thing I think is they think they're too good to do it almost. And I'm like, this is your business and these people want to speak to you. Like, it's your job to do that, right? Up to a certain point.
Yeah, and that's exactly the same thing with the whole aha moment, that once you're starting to actually do those boring DMs and opening up conversations, that's where it is all about. Without a conversation, there's no lead, there's no call, there's no cash to be made. Because every single time, I actually last few weeks, there's a lot of, I'm just responding to people who follow me. Saying, hey, thank you for the follow, and, is there something that I can do for you? That's a very normal response. Someone is interested because they saw a reel from you from 30 seconds, and they start following you. Yeah, I actually have this and this problem. You are actually starting to help people. And I think most people refrain from the idea that you are talking to a stranger. But we should never forget that we are human beings. Helping people. Communicating with each other. Without communication, folks, we are done. Right? So it's the essence of life that we are trying to refrain from or are afraid of, that is actually stopping the whole progress of a fitness coach trying to scale. So simple.
And I think the other thing that's so simple, and then when I saw you did this is why I loved you and had even more respect for you, was you still push to continue your development and knowledge of your skill set, right? So like hence doing the N1 training camps, I'm doing one in December, and people say to me, oh, I don't know what content to make. I was like, well, you don't know enough. Because like, I could probably make fitness content in anything you ask me to, same as business, because you understand, like, put me on stage or on camera now and ask me anything. Like, because when you have a very in-depth knowledge, you can fully understand, and you're a master of something when you can coach and teach it. And that's the same thing for you in terms of that's one of the ways that makes you stand out, is like, if you're just the fucking best and you know more than everyone else, plus you can do all the other stuff we spoke about, then you're going to dominate.
The whole thing is, to be honest, I've been always like this, in the sense that if I'm going to do something, I want to become the best. Because I'm not going to waste my time on something that is eventually not working or getting me somewhere. I think all human beings have some sort of a drive in them to survive, which means progress, right?
Do you think that's more in men than women?
I think men... Yes, automatically, because men have to provide for the family. And I'm from a very old area.
Traditional.
Tradition, right? Dad is going to provide For everything, mom's gonna watch kids. Very traditional. I still live that today. One of the reasons I'm moving out. Because the Netherlands is turning the other way around, where you can choose whoever you want to be. If you want to be like this empty glass, you can be your empty glass. Screw that stuff. I remain to the tradition, and especially for my kids, right? And I think men have more of a drive to get the food. Women have a more caring thing. So that's also a specialty, of course, because I'm totally not caring in the sense that, everything's going to be all right. No, I'm just focused on what needs to get done. But we all have that. We all have that drive, especially men. I believe that.
What you said there was interesting. What does it mean to you to have the ability now to move with your family from the Netherlands to like completely change your family's life, moving somewhere like Portugal with a much better lifestyle, sunny climate, like particularly for kids? That's awesome, right?
Yeah. So my kids are my everything. And remember, you can only say this when you're having kids, because the moment they're getting born, that's a special moment, man.
How old are your children?
One is 5, one is 2, and one is 7 months. We are done now.
Number 4?
I think, yeah. My wife says 4, but need to focus on the business now. That is, to me, is everything. When shit hits the fan in the country or wherever I live, I want to have the ability to put them in a safe place. I want to put them in an environment where I can say, you are not going to learn from the people who are telling you what to think. And I have that ability now. And most people do not have the ability. Because they put their kids to school, they wish and hope everything that is being taught is good, but I want to be in control of that. Because what has being spit out to their ears, they're so like a sponge. And now me giving the ability to move out to a country where there's still more tradition, where they can, let me show you something. This was the...
I've seen that photo, actually.
Yeah. This photo is so powerful to me, my man. Because this was the villa I rented in Portugal a couple months ago. My kids are playing here with stones and leaves from a tree. My kids in the Netherlands, we are in a rush. And we put them behind the TV because mom and dad has to rush everything because life is like that. Especially in the Netherlands, probably in the UK as well.
Yeah, I understand.
No fucking way. And I saw this and I took that picture and I was like, I want my kids to grow up like this. This is how life is meant to be, in my opinion, right? They can be kids again. They're not being completely bombarded with Netflix and all that stuff, which, of course, it's your own responsibility because you're putting on the TV. They're not doing that. But it gives me peace of mind. 300 days of summer, because if you live in the Netherlands, folks, you're going to live with a lot of water.
A lot of grey.
That's depressing, same as UK. And me having the ability to create that environment, I know for sure that my business will go like this because now I can focus. But it has also to do with the people. Portugal is one of the countries that is the most happiest because people do not have a lot. They have the sun. They eat out every single night because food doesn't cost much. And we in the Netherlands all live in a cubicle.
Little boxes, right?
Little boxes.
In the cold and grey. Yeah.
9 to 5, boom, back home, get your kids from the company that you put them to watch for the kids. The kids go to bed. You go to the dinner with your wife on the same table every single freaking night. Then you go to bed and repeat. When going to Portugal, man, the kids are still awake at 8 p.m. playing outside because mom and dad are sitting on the terrace, eating with each other with the family. It's more of a family. We are becoming so individualistic now in the Western world that, man, it's crazy. And to come back to your question. It meant everything. Changed my life. And it can change for everyone, but you have to take that freaking step. That simple action that we talked about. That one DM can change it. Just doing it.
And that's having, like, English sayings, like the minerals to do it, right? Because a lot of people literally don't have the balls to be like, I'm going to fucking do this and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, whereas most people just don't back themselves. So, like, I'll give an example. My previous job, I earned pretty good money, like relative. And I remember people saying to me when I first started doing what I was doing online, like, who the fuck does Charlie think he is? Why is he posting topless photos of himself on the internet? Blah, 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 blah. And then if I'd listened to those people, and even like a lot of the people close to me, like family-wise, who were like, what the fuck is he doing this? Even like my partner's dad at the time, she didn't actually tell me, but he said, like, he's fucking mad. Why is he leaving this job? Because they had that mindset of like the box, like 9 to 5 mentality. But if you really believe in something and you back it and you go fucking all in and you like actually really try, it's impossible that you can't make it happen.
Absolutely.
Because like, it's not like you're doing something that's never been done before. And that's what's truly exciting, because then the people like you, Rico, are saying what can be done. And then if you think about, I don't know, your children will probably watch this in 10 years' time, which is cool when you think of that.
Absolutely.
Like how that's changed the direction of your entire family's fucking lives.
Hell yeah. And believe it or not, the point where I'm at now, you can even earn less than that to make that happen, right? It now becomes more like, okay, we're just doing that without even thinking about it. Whereas almost 1 year ago, because that's when the point I pulled the trigger. It's a little bit longer than 1 year there, when I joined Frank, right? Think about it, folks. You can change your life in months. It doesn't take years. The internet gives you all the possibilities. And let me remind you, which camera do I look to? Look to people in the face. That one. Okay. Let me remind you. I'm a father of 3 kids. Okay? I have an online fitness business. We are now running approximately 70 clients. At the same time, I have a clothing brand. I sell retail in the shops, so I need to manage that. One-man job. All things need to be taken care of. At the same time as well, I'm a big shareholder of my dad's company, where I'm communicating with the big directors. Doing all that at the same time, and I'm not even burned out. Man, I have so much energy.
And competing.
And compete, and make a documentary, and YouTube videos, and editing all these things by myself. Folks, you're shitting yourself.
And that's where I think people underestimate what can be done. And the reality is, like, even you say 6 months, but like 3 months, you can change your life.
Oh, man, yeah.
And I think
it happened for me in 3 months, Charlie. Going from 5 to 20.
And that's the reality of, though, that people live in the same life over and over again. And like, I was in that trap from probably 22 to 26. And I was lucky that I got out. And I got out because I saw a friend who was starting to go online. I was like, he can fucking do it, I can fucking do it. He's got nothing I can't. And the same thing, like breaking limiting belief, right? That's what happened to me. I was like, if he can do it, I can do it, so I'm going to do this.
It's the same guy who did the 1 minute mile thing.
Yes, this is a really good story. Bennett, so, 4 minute mile with Roger Bannister. So, no one had ever run a 4 minute mile, short story, and people thought you would physically die if someone did it. No one had ever done it in the history of mankind. Within 6 months of him breaking the record, 24 other people had done it.
Voila.
Human evolution hadn't changed, training hadn't changed, trainers hadn't changed. It's just people's perception of what was possible.
Yes, that was the same for me when I saw Asri. That kid of 24, I'm now freaking dad of 3 kids, 31, bitching about my life. If he can do it, I can do it.
And that's what I say for anyone listening to this. What would be the final piece of advice you give to anyone who's... I think the big thing I see most people is they're just scared. They're like in the show and not willing to step out, or they're maybe worried about what other people will think of them or making a mistake. And one of the things I would actually say is that I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've tried some masterminds that haven't worked. I've spent $50,000 on a mastermind, and it taught me how to use Slack, basically. I was like, okay, that's cool, sort of. And I learned lessons from that then helped me in later life. But just because one thing hasn't worked doesn't mean that everything doesn't work. It's the same as like, because you worked one fitness coach and doesn't go very well, doesn't mean that all fitness coaches are bad, if that makes sense.
Same with people talking about calories don't work because they tried calories for once, right?
Yeah.
Let me give you a backstory a little bit. Short one. This is a major problem that you're talking about. People have the anxiety to fail. We live now in a society, and that's the way it is, folks, that you're getting a medal for failing. Oh, great for participating. Oh, gold medal.
Came last.
Right? Came last. Or didn't even show up. Oh, you still get a medal. The story that I have is my parents were very protective because of everything that happened in my life. And I'm an open book. I'm going to tell this on the internet right now for the very first time. When I was 5 years old, we are in the security business. When I was 5 years old, in my house, I slept between my parents. A grenade actually exploded in our house. This is no bullshit. Telling you straight. That did something with me in terms of my worldview and how it all worked. Therefore, my parents were very protective of me. What it cost, being my parents so protective, is that they didn't allow me to make mistakes that my parents already made. You know what a big problem that was for me to overcome? Because when I was not making mistakes, I didn't learn. It's actually funny that a few weeks ago, I talked to my mom and dad and said, I'm going to do this stuff. I'm going to Portugal and immigration, stuff like that, moving out. And they were, again, as a mom and dad, which I completely understand, are you sure? Do you know what you do? Are you not making mistakes now? I said, Mom, literally me making these mistakes has put me into a position that I can do it. Think about that. She was like, okay, makes sense, but you're still my little boy, right? If there's one thing that's going to hold you back, it's not making mistakes. Because it's the hardest learner, but it's knowing exactly what not works. I think Alex Hormozi talks about this in his books, Leads, $1 million leads, $100 million leads. If you're not making mistakes, you will never know what is not working. So you focus on all those things and trying to create some mental masturbation in your head. For, maybe I shouldn't be doing this because then this could happen. You don't know. It's mental masturbation because it didn't happen in reality. You only created that in your mind. You have to make the mistakes in order to know which path or course to walk. You know, and people need to focus on their mindset. Actually read books to get out of it, because the regurgitating media we hear nowadays, man, that's holding us so back.
A couple of things are fascinating from that. One, the parent story, because that's probably similar for me. I was not mollycoddled, but was like, given no guidance. You can do whatever you want. Like, my parents were like middle class, so like financially secure, but like, you can do whatever you like, do anything you want. I was like, so what do I do? Like, didn't really help me. But then also we're like, don't do that, it's too risky. So you're like, what do I do here? And when I started getting into doing what I was doing, what I do now, they were like, didn't like any of it. Social media stuff, like my mum used to take the piss out of me about wearing like pink swimming shorts, shave my legs, like whatever it fucking might be. And at the time I took it like fucking personally, right? And it was like bad. I was even like 27 or however I was at the time. I was like, didn't take it well. And it's often the people who love you the most who are the ones who try and hold you back.
Oh, yes.
Even now, like,
without them knowing it.
Yeah, because they're doing it from a place of kindness and caring. Even like, I give an example. My dad invested in property and made money from doing that. The first thing I did 3-4 years ago, I bought a property in Dubai, and I asked him about it beforehand. And I was like, "Do you think I should do this? It looks like a really good deal." He's like, "No, it's a terrible idea. It's really risky." I just did it anyway, and it was done very well. And but the reality is, I'd learned that often their bias is skewed because they're only trying to protect me and mitigate risk. But you also need to take risk on, particularly if you're sub 50 years old, sub 60, you've got time. If you fuck it all up now, it doesn't matter. Like, if you and me both lost everything tomorrow and we had to start from zero tomorrow, I know I could get a fitness business up to like probably 40k a month within like 2 months from scratch, because I know how to do it. Exactly. Because you've got the skills and the experience and the connections already, right?
Yes. Which
no one can ever take from you. And that's where people have to understand, like, you don't get those skills and experiences without taking the risk, without investing in someone to teach you, and without making mistakes.
Absolutely. 100%. Amen.
And it's interesting, the last thing I was going to say on that was, I don't watch the news, and I haven't for a long time. I was in a hotel on Saturday, and I turned on the TV and put on CNN on for like 2 minutes. And I was like, what the fuck is... It's like someone's been stabbed in London, the stock market's crashing, like it's raining in London again, or like whatever. And I was like...
Red button.
Yeah, I was like, this is turning off. But like, so what I do now in terms of my own mindset, when I walk around, do my 20 DMs in the morning, I have like this YouTube playlist. I'll try and find it and share it, but it's basically like motivational stuff to listen to, and it just frames your head. Like for like 15 minutes, just walk around, move, sunlight, your head's in the game, you get hyped up. And this is what people don't understand, is the compound effect of those small things, because your opinion or view of the world isn't actually your own. Your thoughts aren't your own. They're the perception of what's fed to you every day. So if you control that environment and all you see is success, all you know is that you can achieve anything, you'll have that mentality and you'll go and achieve it.
You have to win that time back. Because for me now, I also, for a very long time, don't watch TV. Yeah, sometimes I watch a Netflix movie with my wife because you want to have time. But it's just once every freaking 3 months.
Yeah.
The thing is, for me, it's crazy when I walk with my dog outside, pass along all those houses, and every single person is sitting like a madman,
like a zombie,
walking through a freaking black box. You are wasting so much time. If you know what you can get out of life in just 3 months, folks, it took me to go from 5 to 20. And the only thing is what I do. And remember, I've got 3 kids, which means whenever they go to sleep, dads go to work. I'm what they call night owl. I work in the nights. When the kids go to sleep, I do my sales calls, I do everything, I make the YouTube videos. Hey, that's my time frame. Nobody's going to get it from me. No friends. I actually don't have many friends because they all, went different ways. But I got so much time back, and I'm actually okay. I think this is a good one. And this one comes from Bruce Lee. The best friend that you can go something like this. The best friend you can create is your own. Be a friend with your own, because you will never be alone. If you can do that, be alone, be with yourself. Me being out alone in Dubai, sitting in my hotel room, work. Man, I have the best time ever. I can even laugh with myself, take a piss, right? I think that's so important, because then you will see that life goes fast in a sense, in terms of growth. You take the time to reflect. You take the time for yourself to really think things through. Man, it's gold.
But that's when you're comfortable in your own skin. And one of the things, I'm naturally very, very introvert, and I love spending time on my own without anyone like contacting me, just like in my own headspace. It's like on Mondays, I just call it like Blue Sky Mondays. I go and sit on my own somewhere in like a coffee shop and just a pen and paper for like 2-3 hours and just think. And like, I actually mentioned this on the coaching call this week, like I have like a coaching session with myself where like, I'm a bit bipolar anyway, but like I like write a question, like what's going really well, ? And then like other part of me is like, what are the answers? And then like the next part will be like, okay, what's the big needle movers in terms of like life? What do I need to focus on? What can be improved on? Like, and actually start to coach yourself and start to like critically think.
Yeah.
Because we all know the big thing that's probably holding us back, but it's probably the painful thing we don't want to deal with. And that big thing. When you pull on that lever, is the thing that's going to get exponential growth.
Absolutely, 100%. I've seen it happen.
One last thing in terms of art that you mentioned there was interesting. Your schedule. So you mentioned you work late, and obviously with the kids. What does that look like on a daily basis?
Are you ready, folks?
This is the secret master plan for a busy dad of 3.
And not working 100% full time in the online fitness business, right?
Your part-time
Because-
20k business, right?
Yeah. So basically, what it is, I have to be present 3 days on the office for my role as a major shareholder of the security company. So I do the financials on the background. So 3 days physical being present there, right? Doing everything with the office. But it's a 1.5 hour drive. Freaking waste of time. But I will put on a podcast that Charlie has launched. That's it. That's how I use my time, literally. Before that, my kid, I need to, okay, let's go from the point I stand up. I stand up, literally.
What time is this?
What time I stand up?
Yeah.
Because I work till the late night, I stand up approximately like 7:30.
Okay.
Now during prep it's like sleep deprivation, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, you can't sleep,
awake.
can you?
No,
It's awful,
can't
yeah.
sleep. But usually it's 7:30. Within a half hour, I'm finished with everything. Putting my clothes on. Boom. The first thing I do, bring my kid to school. Okay? Then I come back because my wife needs to go to the work. She works three days in a row. Okay? Then I walk the dog quickly. During the walk with the dog, I respond to clients that WhatsApping me. So I'm doing voice notes. Boom. Okay, that's taken care of. It's multitasking. Easy. Then we pick the car. 1.5 hour drive to the office. Do my thing there. Boom. 1.5 hour drive back to the Netherlands. Then I come to the Netherlands, to my home. Then I come back. Literally, it is like 5 p.m. now. And then I pack my bag, go to the gym. Coming back at approximately 6:30, 7 p.m. Make my post-workout big meal. And believe it, folks, I eat very good stuff. Flexible dieting. Then the kids go to bed. And then my day starts. That's when the work happens. That's when the YouTube videos being created. The reels, the posts, everything. And I work most of the time till 1 a.m. in the morning. And that's it. And I work freaking hard in the weekends. Saturdays, Sundays, no days off. Because that's my time when my wife goes to the family with the kids. And I have free time. That's when I cramp in like 10, 12 hours of work. Which not a lot of people are willing to do. Sundays is check-ins. Bam, that's it.
It's so funny that you say this because I posted a couple of times in the groups recently. It's like unpopular, but on the truth is you want to make a lot more money, you need to work the weekends. Like I work a lot the weekend and I actually really like it because I don't have any calls with anyone. So no one speaks to me and I can just get shit done.
Everyone sleeps out.
Yeah, so like I'm good. And one of the secrets that I did in terms of like crushing it with our fitness business when we really took off is my partner always wanted to go and do like family stuff. And I was like, fucking, like, for me, like I don't want to sit around for 4 or 5 hours and have lunch. I'm like, I've got a lot of shit I need to do. So like literally I would just grind all Sunday and I would get so much done. I'd be so far ahead of anyone else because of this. You do that for 6 months a year, you're in a different league compared to other people.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand because those compound decisions of what you do right now, next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, change everything.
Everything.
Like for you and your family now moving to Portugal.
Yeah.
Because you put in the effort and you do that on Sundays, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the most important things that people forget is literally what I do on a daily basis. When I'm doing things, non-high income tasks, but I still need to do, for me, is cooking for the family. My wife can't cook. Sorry, babe. My kids love my foods more than my wife, but okay, that's not...
Do you get mutiny if she cooks, they won't eat?
Oh, man, terrible. That, you know... We're not going to talk. She can cook an egg and that's it. So I actually have to cook it, so no excuses there. However, when I'm cooking, it's actually very relaxing for me. I love to cook. I love to eat great. It's also the time I'm doing something. because cooking for me is just a mindless thing to do. I'm going to make pasta, boom, 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 boom. At the same time, I'm either listening to a training that I need to follow, or a call that I was not being present with live. For example, the calls that we have weekly. I listen it back, and then I'm taking notes and cooking at the same time. Or I'm making an amazing recipe. I put my phone with the tripod there, make a short video, boom, edit it in the evening, boom, short is done. Or reel, whatever. I multiply the tasks. When I'm sitting on the freaking toilet, I'm reading a book. Or DMing. I'm not sitting on the toilet thinking, oh man, that was a great shit. No, hell no. I make use of the time that are non-high income tasks. I combine it with something else. Driving a car for 1.5 hours, yeah, you have people that put on the radio. You wasted 1.5 hours of your time. Now you're getting back again. You wasted 3 hours in the freaking car. Traffic jam, 4 hours. Man, you can get so much done sitting in that car.
And that's me. I used to do an hour each day to work, and all I do is listen to podcasts. Back in the day, it was Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk. All I used to just a hammer, like all day, so I could learn about sales and marketing. And
you hear those guys keep repeating all those things, and eventually it becomes in your head.
100%. It's ingrained.
It's ingrained.
So the decisions I make are based upon the things I'm aware to, which is that, rather than people getting stabbed in Croydon on the news. So exactly. It's like, and that's really probably the most powerful thing I think I could leave on.
Yeah.
For more people to find out about you, Rico, where's the best place to check out your social media, some of the amazing cooking recipes, your show, your documentary on Netflix that's coming up?
No, not on Netflix. I wish it was to be. No, it's going to be literally a Netflix quality documentary. Okay. We have a professional team doing this now. That will be launched somewhere on the YouTubes in the beginning of next year. So you can find me on YouTube, Rico Van Huizen. You can find me on Instagram, Rico Van Huizen. Those are the platforms I'm mostly active on. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
It's you.
Anyone who's looking to take the business to the next level and do what Rico done, which is quite fancy, phenomenal, and change the course of entire family's history from going forwards, moving to Portugal. If you're looking for similar success, then drop me a message on Instagram to find out how we can help you at Charlie Johnson Fitness. Make sure you share this episode with a friend who needs some inspiration of what can be done from a super dad, bodybuilding champion, and fitness entrepreneur. And we'll see you next episode soon.